Switching it up today, decided to film in my home office. I haven't really shown you much of it yet, or in a while, but doesn't it remind you of my apartment days if you've been watching since back then? Now that I'm in here, I feel like a home office makeover would be a great video this new year. But as you can tell from the title today, I'm going to be sharing with you how I structure budgeting yearly as well as monthly. I have been doing this for 5-ish years now. I have a very old video on this channel already explaining how I budget, but a lot has changed since then. A lot of my income has changed, my streams of revenue, kind of like the structure, inflation. So it is time for an updated video because I just started my new budget journal this year. So if you've seen that old budgeting video with that journal, I finally filled it. This year I started my new one. I got this journal from Typo a few years ago. Today I wanted to take you through how I track my spending, how I organize budgeting, how I do it monthly, and kind of explain my mind's breakdown. Now I know not everyone prefers to budget this way, and you can do it on a spreadsheet or Excel or through an app on your phone. That's awesome, but for those that prefer to handwrite things or track it, write it down, have it in a tangible notebook like me, then this is how I do it, and I'm excited to walk you through my 2023 budgeting journal. I will tell you, my finances have changed a lot throughout the years in both ups and downs, and I'm ready to be transparent about it all with you. So this new year, I'll be making a ton of videos on kind of exposing how much money you earn on YouTube, brand deals, how much money I earned on YouTube last year versus this year, or different months, and breaking it all down. I've noticed this a lot throughout other creators and YouTubers that I keep up with, but YouTube money is like not what it used to be. Everyone is kind of getting less views, less income, the RPM is down. I know this isn't for everyone, but the majority of YouTube friends that I've spoken to, all of us took a really big pay cut. I think a lot of platforms are pushing short form content now, so long form, I don't know. It's a conversation to have for another video, but I'm going to be very transparent in 2023 about income and finances, because when I did this in the past, it helped not only you, but me. I felt like it almost brought good luck. So we are just being completely transparent here. If you feel comfortable being as transparent in the comments down below, I'd really appreciate it. I love learning and hearing about other people's experiences, but please subscribe and follow me on Instagram, and let's get right on into this video. The first page in my budgeting journal, I have a total budget breakdown. This is kind of how I organize everything that I spend my money on, broken down into a category of must-haves, like no matter what, I have to spend this, subscriptions that I'm signed up for, the loans that I currently am paying off, credit card debt, or just I am using credit cards, so then the average of how much I'm spending per month, wants, and things that alter. And then I add up the total of each category, as well as the big total of how much I need per month just to pay bills, just to get by, just to live the life that I am comfortable living. And for me, that number right now is around $4,000, which seems like so much. And when I break down like, okay, what can I take out? Honestly, there isn't much. So underneath my must category, we've got my mortgage, my electricity bill, and for things that range, I went through my payment history of the last year and I wrote down the lowest to the highest bill that I had. So my lowest electric bill was around $50, and then my highest one was $150, so I gave that as the possible range. Same goes for my Centerpoint gas that I'm using. Lowest is $40, highest that I've paid is $190. I do have a fireplace and I like to cook, so I feel like in winter when I have the fireplace on, it's just higher. I also learned that your dryer can make your gas bill go up, so I'm trying to be more conscious of how often I run the dryer or how long I run it for. I also have my Wi-Fi bill, which is $88.05. I've got my security, HOA, and then all of my insurances, my car insurance, health insurance, and dental. And the total that I have to spend each month on those bills is about $3,000. And I used the highest possible range for those bills that did vary, just to show that I need to make this, but it might be less if I'm conscious and careful. But at the bare minimum, like, I need to put down $3,000 a month just to cover my bills. Now I do have about $136 of subscriptions each month. This is just like Hulu and Spotify and like iCloud storage. I use Teza, so I pay for that, and they're all fairly affordable. I'd say subscriptions is a category where if I were to need to save more money, I could cut, but it's also the lowest category. Like, it's only $136. So it wouldn't make that big of a difference if I was really struggling to break down that total. And then we have the 2 loans that I'm currently paying off. I do have a car loan, and then I have a medical bill that was very, very high that I am working on paying off as well. And this page, it's all pretty like sealed in with totals, but then on the other page I do have my 3 credit cards, and I just did a range of about how much I usually pay per month depending on how much I charge to each credit card that month or whatever the total is. I do try to pay as much as possible off of my credit cards, but I will be transparent and tell you that I am back in a little credit debt right now, and I used to pay this off completely each month. It really hurts my heart to know that, but a goal that I made this year is to pay them all off in total and keep them down. The wants category is the smallest, and it's just my eyelashes. I get eyelash extensions, and this would be a category, you know, where it's not a must, it's a want. So if I needed to cut down on expenses, that may have to go, but I try really hard never to get to that point because eyelashes are like the one thing that I will spend on myself. I don't get my nails done, I don't go out to eat a lot. Like, that's the one thing that I want to be able to spend money on because it's so worth it to me. It gives me so much confidence. I never feel like I have to wear makeup anymore. And then I have alters, which is just gas, groceries, and Petco because I have 2 cats. So I spend about $50 a month depending on if they need a new thing of food or litter. It's about every other month for a bag of food and a bag of litter, so about $50 a month. And if you look at everything on these pages, none of these are frivolous. I don't have Starbucks, I don't have like DoorDash, I don't have shopping, I don't pay for Ubers. This is literally just what I feel like I have to spend each month, and it somehow still comes out to $4,000. I feel like that is so high, but when you break everything down, it does make sense. It's crazy because when I lived in my apartment, the total that I had to earn each month was about $1,800. Granted, inflation, my rent was really low. I was under 26, so I didn't have to pay for my own insurances. I wasn't living in an HOA association. Like, there were a lot of factors, but now in this economy, that is the number that I need to hit at least each month. And that can be a little bit stressful when you are self-employed, depending on trends and algorithms. Especially this last year, YouTube's not cutting it anymore, so I've got to make some changes. Anyway, the next page I dedicated to paying off my credit debt. So I left this blank for filming because I wasn't comfortable sharing with you where everything is at right now, but I do have a plan and I'm just going to write out the total each month. This visually gives me a better idea and concept of where I'm at, how to keep it down. It can be so easy sometimes to just blindly put down your credit card and not want to think about the total that's on that line of credit, but I really want to be more aware of it and keep that in mind. So this is just more of like a visual aid for me. And then the next page I have dedicated to tracking my car loan as well as my medical loan. This gives me so much motivation, light at the end of the tunnel almost, and a way for me to figure out like, okay, how am I paying this off this year? The medical loan I will definitely pay off this year, thank goodness, because then I can put the amount of money that used to go toward the loan towards another loan to pay off that other loan twice as fast, and I'm really excited to be able to do that. But again, this gives me motivation to see that it is going down and I am paying it off and it will be paid off. It's also really fun to track. The next page I've had in previous budget journals as well, and that is just my YouTube earnings. Again, this is more just so I can visually see it and track the trends, see if it's going up, down, seeing which months were the highest. And if you are unfamiliar with the way that YouTube pays out its creators, I will get paid in January for how much I made in December. So for example, and this is me being so transparent, it's almost embarrassing, my paycheck this month in January from YouTube, and this is just AdSense alone, is about $700. And that is reflective of how my channel did for December, which is really hard for me to understand because it's so much lower than other months. And it's weird because I uploaded a lot more, so more content, you'd think more money, but my RPM kept going down, so I was actually getting paid less per 1,000 views, which with each upload. To give you some perspective, my peak YouTube career, I was making about $5,000 off of AdSense alone. So now with a channel twice as big and like dozens of more videos out there, to go from 5,000 2 years ago to 700, it makes you question a lot. So I'm gonna deep dive into that in future videos and figure it out and try to fix it. It can be super frustrating because obviously you just saw my total breakdown. I can't live off of $700 a month. I'm grateful for it and it helps, but it's not gonna be enough to cover the bills. So we need to make some changes in 2023, and that is a big reason why I have my YouTube earnings listed so that I can help make that change. Speaking of trying to make some changes, the next page is a list of all of my streams of revenue. So my goal is always to have as many streams of revenue as possible. I do have an older video about my 14 streams of revenue at age 25, how I was making 10 figures a month and breaking down like how to increase yours as well. I was doing really well back then. I got a little too comfortable, and if you don't put your energy towards something, it'll dry up. Imagine that. So this year I really want to focus on increasing my streams of revenue once again and really getting back to that sturdy financial foundation. So visually, I just wanted to write out all of my streams of revenue so I could see it and figure out which ones are worth monetizing, which ones are doing the best, which ones I can expand off of, really help get those creative ideas flowing. Some of them I still need to work on, and I'm not sure if I'm going to share all of these with you because I want to make a full video sharing with you all of my streams of revenue. But of course, you know, I have YouTube, OnlyFans, my Amazon storefront, affiliates, brand deals, which can be here or there. Like that is very hit or miss depending on the season. My merch, check out my merch shop. This is all kind of going off of the idea of like, if you got it, monetize it. So if you're good at something, figure out how to monetize it and you will succeed. For me, that includes writing. So I have Medium. I want to start writing articles on Medium. Please follow me on Medium so I can monetize that platform. Etsy, I'm selling digital formatted versions of some of my journal spreads if you want to purchase those. I want to bring back my podcast. I also offer tarot readings, which might seem a little random in this mix, but I've actually been doing that for about 7 years now, and I'm very intuitive, I'm very psychic, and I've had a lot of dreams or intuitive thoughts that have come true. I do that through Instagram. If you're curious, would like some clarity or insights, definitely reach out. This is your sign if you've been looking for it. And something that I always try to help promote is if you got it, monetize it. Meaning if you are good at something, figure out how to monetize it and earn money doing what you love, doing your passions. Like there are so many hustles that people are so skilled at, whether this is like creating crafts on Etsy, flipping furniture and selling it on Facebook Marketplace, being like a really good salesman and going into real estate or some sort of commission-based company. Yeah, it's all about kind of learning how to monetize something that you already have the skill at that nobody else could replicate in the exact same way and talent that you can do that. So if you got it, monetize it. That's my logo. That's also my merch, and I did revamp my merch and drop it this year. I haven't really fully announced it yet. I'm going to in my first OnlyFans video of the year, but it's up. So if you want to browse or get yourself a new merch hoodie, I would really appreciate it. I really love the design this year. It's a revamp of an old design with the same logo in 2020 that I released, and I still love that one too, but I feel like we've come full circle to a new season, so I needed to have a new design to reflect that. But yeah, if you got it, monetize it. And then we get into my monthly breakdowns. You might remember this from my other budget video, but I'm a big fan of having an earned and burned page or spread. That's kind of this phrase that I came up with in my other budgeting video. So every single month I break it down, where on the left side I write down everything that I've earned that month, literally as low as $1. I write it down, I track everything. It's only the beginning of the month when I'm filming this, so I don't have much listed, and I didn't really want to quite yet when I was filming. The only thing listed so far are the OnlyFans referrals from my previous month that I just got paid for, but the left side will fill up with every single payment, paycheck, cash, anything that I receive, and then I will add up that total and get my monthly total of how much I earned in January. Whereas on the right side, I've got the burned page where every single purchase that I make, I have to track. And I color coordinated this the same as the colors on that full budget breakdown, so I can see that everything in dark purple are musts. Blue are subscriptions, the light blues are my loans, and it helps me kind of visualize how much I'm spending for each category. And like I said, it's only like January 3rd when I'm filming this, so not everything has been paid yet, but this is what has gone through so far. I also forgot to add the water category. So my city takes out a payment for water in quarters of the year, I believe. So it's not every single month, but this just happened to be the last quarter of last year's water that I'm paying for, and that comes out to about $100. And then in the top right corner of each month, I also have a spot to write down my checkings and savings totals so I can see where my bank accounts stand every single month, to really help track that as well. And then I just went ahead and color coordinated and filled out the spreads for each month this year: February, March, April, May, June, and these are kind of the colors that in my mind like go with that month, if that makes sense. At the end of the year, I also have a few pages dedicated to my YouTube tax expenses and write-offs. Ignore the typo. I was setting up this journal at like 1:30 in the morning after a glass of wine, so the tiredness and the wine got to me a little bit. But this is a place for me to write down all of the write-offs this year. This isn't my final place where I document write-offs. I end up copying the write-offs and tax information on a document on my laptop that I go over with my tax provider. But just to kind of like keep track of it throughout the year, make a note of it, or remind myself, oh, go back and make sure to have receipts for this, I just jot it down chronologically in here with the date and whatnot. So I have 4 pages dedicated to that because it will fill up. And then I've got my yearly breakdown where I summarize each month and I can visually see exactly how much money I earned and spent each month. So this is when I take the total that I add up on those monthly spread pages and I document it back here as well, so I can really see like, oh, like January I earned this much money, or oh, in August I earned the most money, or in March I spent the most, and it helps me visually see the trends of the year. Now I actually want to share this with you guys, so I'm thinking of doing a video exposing how much money I spent last year, because documenting it this way makes it very easy for me to see it all and remember, so I can just easily add up the 12 totals to get to the total that I spent in a year. I don't even know if I want to know that, but I think it would make a really fun video, so definitely let me know if you want to see that next. But then I saved the rest of the journal blank because after 2023, when all of these pages are full, I'll do an updated total breakdown that I did at the beginning of the journal for 2024, because I'm sure that numbers and info will shift a little bit for my musts, subscriptions, wants, like alterations. I'm sure that info will be a little bit different, so I'll do an updated one and then replicate all of the spreads again for 2024. And then I have a feeling this journal will fill up about 2 or 3 years worth, so I'll just keep doing that every single year. But that is kind of how my brain organizes budgeting and visually likes to see it written out. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you learned something, even if it was just like a nosy fact about YouTubers. If you have a way of budgeting that you recommend, I'd love to hear about it, but please subscribe, please watch the ads, please help my channel. YouTube, it's a weird time to be on YouTube right now, and I think a lot of YouTubers are expressing that. The love for it is still there, but the paycheck just isn't, and that's really sad because there are so many creators, myself included, that I believe should be paid more for their craft, and it sucks that we're at a place now where, I don't know, it's different. Luckily, I do this because I love it, so even though the payment is different, like I still love making videos, I still love connecting with you, I still want to share stuff like how I journal, how I set up my budget journal and whatnot, so I will be doing that no matter what. But it's frustrating that like I'm earning as much as I made when I had 10K in college. Like I haven't made this small amount on YouTube since I was a very, very small channel, like 5 years ago, and it doesn't make any sense to me, because if I had a channel this big 5 years ago, I'd be making a lot more. So it's just weird. Like, it's frustrating, but it's also not all about the money. So we'll see. I'm just gonna be uploading what I love to make on this channel and try to share with you as much as I can about my life, ranging from OnlyFans videos, finance videos, spiritual videos about crystals, travel, daily vlogs. I love it all, so I'm gonna share it all, and I hope that you'll stick around to see it. I'm excited for this new year though. I really do think this year is going to change, like everything. It's gonna be a game changer. I really want to get back to that financial foundation, so let's do it together this year, and I'll try to make more videos amping that up and inspiring you to do the same. Let's pay off that debt. I'll link that old budget video down below. It goes a bit more into depth on certain things. Some of the info is outdated, but it's still entertaining to watch. And then I'll link some other finance videos as well, but I hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you real soon with my next video. Bye! Want to say bye, Marnie? When we lived in my apartment, and this was in my living room, she would always lay back here while I watched TV. It's giving me deja vu.